With so many Panthers on trial and others facing trial in this building alone, it is apparent that Charles Gary and his law office associates are quite busy men.
There was a demonstration of sorts in Oakland today. Representatives of several... Yeah, cut it.
Will you describe the shootout to me?
I had a bunch. I think the shooting came from that green building over there. They had 4 of them got shot.
Did you see them get shot?
Mm-hmm.
The day of the sit-in, the lie-in, the crawl-in, the cry-in, and the beg-in is outdated.
There are many, many innocent men and women in prison today simply because of the fact that they happen to be in the way of a policeman.
The Panthers exhorted people to violence. In the initial announcements, when they were announcing the Huey Newton rally, they exhorted people to bring their guns.
He was really nothing but an antisocial gangster.
He is a sort of gangster, you know, because this is a gangster story, but a gangster with a difference because this is a gangster with a conscience.
I think they're very much a threat to social harmony within this city and generally throughout the country.
Due process of law has become a joke. We say that Huey Newton is completely innocent.
After Huey's arrest, that's when things really started rolling.
And I went over the girl's head, down on the other side of her, and continued fire.
Those officers fired 99 shots through the walls of an apartment where they knew people were sleeping.
That could have been my son lying there, and I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to start right now to inform white people of what they don't know.
A revolution of value.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Is this thing on? I'm terrified of cameras in large crowds, especially in New York City. Last time I came to New York City, they wanted to get me to speak at the Apollo Theater. Somebody called me up on the phone and said, Huey, we're going to have to cancel the rally at the Apollos because somebody's going to assassinate you from the balcony. I said, listen, if I'm ever foolish enough to try to get up on the stage at the Apollo Theater, you won't need no assassin to get me. You just have the man come and hook me over the stage. What they call the Sandman. Sandman cometh. I'm no Patti LaBelle, James Brown. I'm actually a rather shy individual. I wouldn't consider myself to be, very charismatic. I never really did anything hero-like. I just worked on some little community programs. I do have a role to play, however, I'm a theorist of sorts. It means I work on theories, but I really do not enjoy discussing the details of my personal life except as it relates to the movement. I hate interviews, tape recorders, microphones, stuck up in my face. Tell you two people, I hate stages just because they put you on stage and they expect for you to entertain them. And I keep trying to tell people I'm not an entertainer. Day I came out of prison, a hot sunny day, So I took my shirt off, and a lot of people wanted to read like a, grand gesture into that, like it was something significant, but it was really, just a little simple act. I'd been in solitary confinement for 3 years. I came out, the sun was shining, felt good, so I took my shirt off. And then shortly thereafter, I received through the mail like a brochure from some Hollywood outfit, and they had some little clippings in there, with my picture on it, with my shirt off, and they had a little letter from the Hollywood studio attached to the clippings, and the letter from the Hollywood studio said something to the effect of, "Dear Mr. Newton, we feel that you have star quality." Something like that. These Hollywood studios are a trip because they're in the business of creating fiction, but we in Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're in the business of creating non-fiction. We're making revolution. Coming soon to a cinema near you. Now here's a selection from the soundtrack. Hope you enjoy it. Available now on Panther Records and Tape. And 8 tracks. Everybody talking about the revolution is come, revolution come, revolution come, revolution come, revolution come, revolution come, revolution is come, revolution come, revolution come. Look, revolution has been here. Revolution has been going on. Revolution always has been going on. Revolution always will be going on. Because the new is always going to be struggling with the old for domination. And the new is always going to win. And the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're just like the vanguard of the revolution. We're like the tip of the spear. We make the first impact, but really the real damage is done by the butt of the spear. That's the people. They make the revolution. And the butt of the spear makes a real penetration. You see, without the butt penetration, spear is no more dangerous than a toothpick. And people say, well, Huey, you're very violent. Why are you so violent? Huey, you sit up and talk about spears and penetration, stabbing people with toothpicks. And I say, well, hold on, wait a minute, time out on the court. Existence is violent. I exist, therefore I'm violent in that way. And I think it's hypocritical to try to pretend otherwise. I really do. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's hypocritical. I really do. I think it's hypocritical. I think it's hypocritical. In the same way it's hypocritical when all these vegetarians try to tell you they're not harming anything. A carrot screams also. So we reject violence, but we make a distinction between the violence of the oppressor and the self-defense of the people. We think that the people have a right and an obligation to defend themselves by any means necessary, just like Malcolm X said. And some people, sometimes if you want to get rid of the gun, you got to pick the gun up. And we think it's absurd to ask the people in Vietnam to put down their guns, but when the American ruling circle is napalming them to death, we think it's absurd. We think it's absurd to ask the people in South Africa operating underground over there to put down their guns when black people in South Africa treated just like slaves. We think it's absurd. All over this world, we got to teach our little children how to love and how to defend themselves. And the only way we could ever resolve this contradiction between love and self-defense is by reversing the domination through revolutionary action. And then maybe we can hold on to love and put down some of these guns. Okay? Look. I don't even like guns. I hear guns clicking around my head and make me nervous. Okay, look. I don't need no gun to do my thing. Mao Zedong said that power grows out the barrel of a gun. He never said that power was a gun. That's why I don't need no gun to do my thing. What I need is some freedom. What I need is the power to determine my destiny. Sound pretty good, doesn't it? Let's make that number 1 on the Black Panther Party Top 10, 10-point party platform, October 1966. What we want and what we believe. Number 1, we want freedom. Period. We want the power to determine the destiny of our black community. Period. Number 2, we want full employment for our people. That's right. That's what the brothers and sisters out on block tell me. I say, what's happening? They say, Huey, I need a job. That's what's happening. I say, right on. So do I. Maybe we can work together. Number 3, we want an end to the robbery by the white man of the black community. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Hold on. Not everybody trying to rip off the black community is white. A lot of them are black. Huh? We're not anti-white, we're anti-wrong. Type this up. Let's do a little revision on number 3 and just say that we want an end to the robbery by the capitalist of the black community, the capitalist. Can you put that in the uppercase, in the capital letter? I think it starts with a C. I'm not sure. Okay, a capitalist. Number 4, we want housing. We want shelter, which is fit for human beings. Because a lot of people run around town don't have a roof over their head. Hard rain falling and getting all wet up. It's a simple human need. Have a roof over your head when the hard rain falls. The hard rain is going to fall, just like the Bob Dylan song say. Number 5, any suggestions in the house? What you want? Huh? What you want? You want some education? You want some education? What kind of education you want? Education which what? Reveals the true nature of this decadent American society? That's what I thought you said. Type that up. Okay, good. You want an education which teaches us our true history and our role in the present day American society? Put a semicolon in between the first part and the second part. A lot of young people are going to be reading the 10 points and want it to be grammatically correct. Okay, don't want to be accused of bad punctuation. Okay, number 6, I think we should deal with Vietnam straight up and just say that we want all black men exempt from military service. That's right. We want all black men exempt from military service, because you can't have a black man going over there to fight the yellow man for the white man when the white man stole his land from the red man. Okay, that makes a nice rhyme, but no political sense whatsoever. Okay, we dealt with Vietnam. Let's deal straight up with the streets of Oakland and just say that we want an immediate end to police brutality and stop the murder of black people. Stop the murder of black people. Stop the murder of black people. Look. Hold on, I got vamped on by some pigs on my way over here this evening. That's why I call them pigs, because the pig is a rather low-lifted animal. Pig had the audacity to ask me what I'm doing with my gun. I say, pig, what you doing with yours? You know tonight's pig is tomorrow morning's bacon. People, that's why I could never be a black Muslim. I like my bacon too much. Okay. Number 8, we want all black men immediately released from federal, state, county, city jails and penitentiaries. Let them go free. They have not had a fair trial. They haven't been tried by a jury of their peers. The constitutional rights have been violated. Let's elaborate on this. For number 9, they just said that when black people are brought to trial in this country, we want them tried in a court of law, not out on the street by some pig, but in a court of law by a jury of their peers as specified by the Constitution of the United States of America. Simple constitutional right to be tried by a jury of your peers. All right, let's do a little summation for number 10, okay? Let's sum it up. Now, what do we want, people? We want some land? You want some land? Type it up. You want land? You want bread? All right, that's it. Type it up. Land, bread, housing, education, clothing. I know you want a black leather jacket. Don't worry, we're going to hook you up. Okay. Land, bread, housing, education, clothing. Land, bread, housing, education, clothing. Justice, that's a good one. Always looking for justice. I went to the state penitentiary looking for justice. That's what I found. Just us. Land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice. And what else do we want, people? Peace. I got your peace. Rest in peace.
Huey P. Newton shoots up integrated theater audience, details at 11.
I got you. But that's what they're interested in, though, ain't it? Ain't it? I'm talking about the white media. That's what they like, isn't it? Black man with a gun, sensationalism, shoot 'em up. And I must admit that in the early days, we were quite sensational, were we not? I run around town with a black beret on my head, light little jacket on, pump out the shotgun on my shoulder, bandolier across my chest. I must look like a combination between Rambo and Shaft. What do you call that, Shambo? We engaged people in a whole lot of rhetoric when we should have been using more organizing tactics. We were perhaps premature in introducing the whole concept of armed struggle to the black community. We used a lot of filthy words, a lot of bad language in the black community, which wound up ending us from the black community, especially the black church. So after a while, you go to a Black Panther rally, all you see is white folks there. Don't laugh, you know it's true. I would even have to go so far as to say that we set ourselves up to be murdered. But that does not absolve the white press from the blame. The white press deserves, the white press serves the white establishment, and they are required to write a lot of nonsense about how all the Black Panther Party want to do is kill white people, kill police officers. That's a bunch of nonsense. We have guns. Yes, we did have guns, but they were registered guns. Okay, just like the NRA's guns, okay? Just like Charlton Heston's guns, okay? And we were never in violation of gun laws in the state of California. Gun laws in the state of California in 1966 say that you could carry a loaded gun out on the street so long as it's registered, not concealed, and not pointed in a threatening manner. You could carry the same gun in your automobile so long as it was not loaded, not concealed, and not pointed in a threatening manner. And of course, as soon as we started doing that, they changed the gun law on us. But we had books, we had law books, we had legal education. The legal education was just as much as an important part of our self-defense program as the guns, but you don't read about that, do you? You don't read about the survival programs that we had going on for the people. Free children breakfast program, trying to feed some of these little hungry kids before they go off to school in the morning. You don't read about that. You don't read about the educational program that we had going on for these kids, for the older folks as well. You don't read about the shoe giveaway, clothing giveaway, coat giveaway that we had going on back east so people don't freeze to death during the winter months. You don't read about that. You don't read about the free prison busing program where we bus people from the communities out to the prison, to the penitentiaries, so the people can visit the loved ones who are incarcerated. You don't read about that. You don't read about the free ambulance service that we had going on in Winston-Salem, North Carolina chapter because black people in Winston-Salem, North Carolina were denied basic emergency health care. You don't read about that. You don't read about the cell anemia testing program where we tested over 500,000, 500,000 people before the U.S. government even realized cell anemia was a threat to the well-being of black people in America. Why? Because there's no guns there, no sensationalism there, no dramatic value. It doesn't sell newspaper, it doesn't boost the television ratings. It's just some black people getting organized to help some other black people. Okay, well look, hold on, but look, hold on. If you read the FBI files, which I have read because it got about 1 million pages in there with my name on it. Okay, look, if you read the FBI files, you will see that even Mr. J. Edgar Hoover himself had to say that it was not the guns that were the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States of America. It was not the guns. What was it, people? Huh? What was the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States of America in the opinion of Mr. J. Edgar Hoover? What was it? Huh? The greatest threat to the internal security of the United States of America was the free children's breakfast program.
Good morning. I can't hear you. Good morning. Good morning. Life is beautiful. Free children. Said I want you free.
That was the greatest threat to the internal security of the United States of America. Grits. Now, why was it free? Huh? In the opinion, Mr. J. Now, why was it children's breakfast program? It's a children's breakfast program because what? Because the children's breakfast program, what? It engendered a certain following on the black community's part, right, sister? Huh? A certain respect on the black community's part, right, sister? I mean, nobody can argue with free grits, right? So Hoover saw it as a kind of he said the children's breakfast program, he said it was what was the word he used? What was the word he used in the file? He said the grits was what was the word he used? He said it was infiltration. It's funny, ain't it? It's funny. Isn't it funny? It's funny. Infiltration. I mean, how are black people who are born and raised in the black community, who live and work in the black community, going to infiltrate their own black community? You tell me that. If anybody's infiltrating, I think it's J. Edgar Hoover. Probably in a negligee. Now, hold on. You want to talk about Victoria's Secret? Let's talk about J. Edgar's secret. Now here's a fair-skinned black man trying to pass himself off as a dark-skinned white woman. Now that's a hell of an infiltration. If it's successful, if it's not, it's just a mess. I think you got the wrong word anyway. I wouldn't call it infiltration. I'd call it a revolution, straight up, wouldn't you? Huh? How you spell that? Oh, people, watch my back, please. I thought I heard some high heels sneaking up behind me. J. Edgar Hoover, you little bitch. Watch my back, people, please. You got my back? Is my back guy? Appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to say all power to the people. There's your Minister of Defense, Huey P. Newton, speaking live and direct from the belly of the beast, the den of wolves, where Big Brother's always watching you, CMC East, the state penitentiary. They say that this is a preferred prison. Some of the inmates in here seem to think that it is a preferred prison, but you know and I know that this is just a little prison. The big prison is on the outside. This is just the outside in miniature. But like the poem by Dryden, I should like to say that even if paradise were my prison, I should still like to leap the crystal wall. They assigned me some menial tasks. Of course, I refused, so they put me on cell lockdown, solitary confinement, confiscated my deodorant, my soap, my shaving powder, my toothpaste, my toothbrush, my reading and writing materials. I have no political or literary expression whatsoever, and whenever I do get to shower, they throw me in the shower with the Nazis and lock the door behind us. In fact, just the other day, they threw me in the shower with this guy who had bashed in the brains of another inmate with a baseball bat. I'm butt naked, he's butt naked, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, he looked like he's getting ready to make a move, I get ready to defend myself. He walk over to me real slow, stuck out his hand and say, "Oh, so you're Huey P. Newton, wow, you're famous," kind of shake your hand. And then the authorities said, well, Newton, that guy is very dangerous. You did a good job with him. You should come on and work with us now, boy. But I'm going to keep on fighting until I die, however that may come. And listen, David, if they touch me, you know what to do. But for the time being, I would like for you to maintain discipline within the ranks. I like a straight story minus the rhetoric. I would like to know how many Black Panther papers we've been selling on the outside, and I would like to know how we can secure some shoes. Because you know they got some brothers in here who can make some shoes. You can get just about any kind of shoe you want to here for just 2 cartons of cigarettes. So we got to see how we can get a shoe factory going on the outside and get some jobs for some of these brothers come out of here and get some shoes for some of these little kids running around Oakland barefoot, getting all cut up in parasites and all. I'm going to keep the faith. I know we got people in prison all over this country. We got so many Black people in prison in America right now. I lost count. But we must know that prison can never be victorious because walls and bars and guards and cells can never keep down or hold down or suppress an idea. I'm going to close out now by saying all power to the people. We're going to leap this crystal wall. Life does not begin at birth. Mine certainly didn't. My life was forged in the life of my parents before me, and their parents before them, their parents before them, their parents before them. My parents gave me courage and strength. They taught me to be unafraid of life, and therefore unafraid of death. They were both very much involved in the NAACP through our church. My father, in fact, was a man of the church. Small man, he wasn't very tall, but whenever he stood up in that pulpit on Sunday morning, he was like the tallest man in the world to me. Hard-working man. He worked 3 or 4 jobs simultaneously to support us. He had to. 7 children in the family. I'm the youngest one of 7. We were poor, of course. I didn't know what that meant at that time. All I knew was that my daddy was away from home quite often, and I resented him for that at that time. But I now realize that he did it because he loved us. And we did love him in return. Even though he was what you might call a benevolent tyrant. See, there was only one correct way of doing anything in this wide world, and that was always my daddy's way. Sound like anybody you? That's what I thought. And you know, even at a young age, I was a little hard-headed, you know, running around, you know, trying to resist my daddy's authority, you know, smoking cools behind his back. And I usually paid for that resistance on my backside. But my parents wanted the best for me. They really, truly did. In fact, they had me training for about 8 years on the classical piano. They saved up so I could have private lessons. They want me to travel the world playing the classical concerto like the classical brother. What's his name? What's the classical brother's name? Watts. That's it, Andre Watts. He's a brother, isn't he? I think. Okay, I think he's a brother. I don't know if he's a Panther, but I think he's a brother. Anyway, I resisted all that Andre Watts riot stuff, and I got myself together, thank you, as a young adult, and I went on to law school, which made my parents very happy because they figured I would graduate from law school, take the bar, pass the bar, become a practicing attorney, make a lot of money. Of course, I dropped out, and that disappointed them. They saw it as a form of ingratitude after all they had sacrificed for me. But I'll tell you the truth, people, because I didn't come to New York City to lie to you. Tell you the truth, the only reason why I started studying the law in the first place was so that I could become a better burglar. Now, that's true. No, that's true. The first college course I ever signed up for back in junior college was a course in criminology because I wanted to be a criminal, but I didn't know which type. So I figured I would take a course in criminology. Maybe that would help me make up my mind. I was a big-time fool. That's what I was. That's why I have confidence in knowing what a big-time fool is. But I heard through some other people when I went to prison that my parents did support my Panther Act. Made me feel very good. Made me feel even better when I was able to come out of prison. My parents were able to tell me that straight to my face. In fact, first place I went to when I came out of prison on that hot Sunday day was to see my mom. She wasn't doing too good. She was in the hospital at the time, but she was doing a whole lot better when I walked through that hospital door. I never forget it. A whole lot of hugging up going on. It was a joyous reunion, and then I went straight away to see my daddy, and he was overwhelmed. He said that he didn't think that he would live long enough to see me released from prison, and then he wept. course, my namesake is Governor Huey P. Long of Louisiana. That's where we're from, Louisiana. And it seemed like my daddy felt that Huey P. Long had done positive things for black people in Louisiana, so he named me after him. And as you can imagine, the name always caused me a few difficulties. Not really political problems per se, but really more problems of a personal nature, you see, because I was the youngest one of 7, I was a baby, and my name was Huey. So everybody want to call me. Don't say it, okay? Look, don't say it. Don't even think about saying it. You don't want to know what happened last person. Call me that to my face. So don't say it. I don't play it. Huh? Who won't be named after a little funny-looking, funny-walking, funny-talking cartoon duck with a bonnet on his head? I don't play that baby Huey stuff. And these kids can be merciless. Rhyming on your name? Oh, my God. They rhyming on my name every day. Running me home from school, throwing rocks outside my head, talking about Huey P, go wee, wee, wee. Huey P, go wee, wee, wee. Throwing rocks outside. Huey P, go wee, wee. Boom. I'm running home to my mama, you know, tears coming down my face, rocks outside my head. I say, mama, 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 I don't want to be Huey P. Newton no more. Boom. I don't want to be Huey P. Newton no more. Boom. My mama just said, listen, son, Huey P. Newton was the name that you was given at birth. And that is the name that you would carry into your grave, Huey P. Newton. Now get inside, wipe off your face, sit down, and practice your Rachmaninoff. And I did too, because the Rachmaninoff better than rocks upside my head, isn't it? But, oh my God, there were these little stories they used to tell about my dad back in Louisiana. That's where we're from, Louisiana. Did I tell you we're from Louisiana, or could you just, okay. Well, it seemed like my daddy back in Louisiana got into a dispute with a white man. And the white man said, well, you know, boy, if ever I get into a dispute with a colored fella, I sure enough have to whip him. My father just looked him straight in the eye for about a minute or two and said real quiet, well, you know, if another man whip me, he got to be the better man, and you don't look like you qualify. Then we moved to California. And my father went out to Oakland, California with another good friend of his who was also trying to support a large family. This friend of his got a good job with the Oakland Public Works Department, something like that. But he quit that job because he got a new job with the Oakland Police Department. He must have been one of the first black police officers on the force. I'm talking about way back, 1952, 53, something like that. And my father broke friendship with him, not because he joined the police force. You know, he had to support his family just like my daddy. But he broke his friendship with him because his friend was only allowed to arrest black people. So he broke his friendship with him on principle, because that's the kind of man my daddy was. He was a man of high-standing principle. And I suppose that the funny thing is, in my immediate family, color was never really the cue, because we had people in my immediate family of all colors, right? All complexions, all hair textures. My father, in fact, was even more fair-skinned than I am. Straight black hair. His father was a white rapist. But color was never really the cue in the family. I mean, sometimes it'd be a little tiff, a little argument in the family. You know, you call one of my lighter skinned sisters red, they get upset, she start crying through her freckles. Or you tell one of my darker skinned sisters, hey, you so black you would leave fingerprints on coal. But it was all just in the family. It didn't have anything to do with this perverse color complex which seemed to infect American psyche at every level. That's something else altogether. In fact, I was reading a news item just the other day that blew my mind about this guy, Jimmy the Greek. Did you hear about him? Jimmy the Greek, sports broadcaster at one of the television networks. And he was fired from his network position because allegedly he said that black people are intellectually inferior because we are athletically superior. But he did not say that. What he said was that black people, if given the chance, can do anything they want in the society, even play golf and tennis. But see, the society is programmed to read into every little thing black inferiority, when really it's just a question of black superiority, which of course America's afraid of, right? And if white people in America truly and sincerely wanted to be superior, all they have to do is get some black folks to enslave them for 400 years, give them the worst housing, the worst food, the worst education, the worst clothing, and then the weak gene line would die out and a truly superior race of people would emerge. Now wait a minute, hold on. I'm not talking about what the Reverend Jesse Jackson has to say. I'm talking about what the Reverend Huey P. Newton has to say. And I do not expect white media to create positive black male images. Positive black male images are created through revolution. And I thank you if you say that I have scared you. Hey, I take it as a compliment. Because any time that a black man in America stands up against the slave mentality, he's going to scare some white people. Okay, and some black folks too. Just ask Paul Robeson, he'll tell you about it. We're not going to do anything on this television talk show but procrastinate. I hope you realize that by now. So might as well just kick back and relax and enjoy the musical interlude.
You scared people, Huey.
You scare people, You scare people, Huey. Good, I'm glad I scared you. You need to be scared, boo. You scared me with all that bad folk music. wearing all that funky buckskin and fringe. White people in America are a trip, huh? They exterminate the Native American, then they try to dress up just like them. Huh? What kind of necrophilia is that? You scare people. Funking up the elevator with all that patchouli on. Please, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all, take a bath. Now, I used to get a lot of visions and dreams. Not Dr. King's dream. I had my own dream. Thank you very much, okay? None of that we shall be overcome stuff. And, okay, good. He got it in the rear. It'll move forward eventually. But when I had these visions and dreams, I never write anything down, so forget the damn thing. So what I did this evening is I brought in some stuff that I've been working on. It's a little poetry I've been working. Did you know I wrote poetry? You didn't know I wrote poetry. You're kidding. He wrote poetry? Wow, how sensitive of him. Wow, I thought he was just a black militant. Wow. But I'm not a poet per se. I do enjoy expressing myself in the poetic form. I'm no Maya Angelou. But I could tell you why the cage bird sang. Thank you very much. But I am currently working on my life story. It's going to be a film for Richard Pryor's company. No, really, Richard Pryor is a very good friend of mine. He put me in rehab. No, come on, it's true. He financed the whole thing. He said, this nigga motherfucking lame. But at least I didn't shoot up my car, Richard. Set myself on fire. But I am the scholarly co-author of an article in the book, A Social Evolution, edited by Professor Robert Trivers, University of California, Santa Cruz. Title of book, Social Evolution. Title of my chapter is Deceit and Self-Deception Amongst Plants, Animals, and Ourselves. Okay. Don't laugh. Okay, that's not a joke. That's a book. You missed a joke. That's a book. Look it up in the library. Look it up in the library. Newton, N-A-W-T-O-N, Huey P, just before you get to Sir Isaac. Okay? But I'm not a writer. I don't have the discipline for it. It takes a lot of discipline to write. I don't have the discipline for it. In fact, I'll tell you this. You might not believe me. In fact, I said this just the other day. My closest comrade called me a lie to my face in public. It was embarrassing. But I'm going to say the same thing to you. And you can say the same thing to me if you want to. But listen, people, when I was graduated from high school, I was a functional illiterate, believe me. Cat, dog, Spot, Dick, Jane, I didn't know those words. No, I didn't know those words. I didn't know those words, and I definitely didn't know the words on my high school diploma, especially the ones in Latin. The only reason they graduated me in the first place was to get rid of me, because I was like one of the top 5 or 6 bad guys in the school system. So they figured they'd graduate Huey P. Newton to get rid of Huey P. Newton. I was suspended from school approximately 38 times. That's a conservative estimate. I was kicked out of virtually every public school in Berkeley and Oakland public schools. They told me I had an IQ of about 74, maybe 75 on a good day. But I didn't like the authority that they had for me. I didn't like the discipline that they had for me. I like to fight. I like to bite people's ears off. I like to choke my basketball coach. I didn't like authority. I didn't like discipline. I didn't like the curriculum. I didn't like the reading list. Cinderella, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. What am I going to do with one dwarf, let alone 7? Nothing but kick him in the little ass. 7 times 7. A Little Black Sambo. Please, every time they read Little Black Sambo in the classroom, all the black kids in the class are laughing out of embarrassment and hide their faces out of shame. I hate it. Little Black Sambo. You want to do an analysis of Little Black Sambo? Huh? You want to do it? Let's do an analysis of Little Black Sambo. Little Black Sambo. Okay, little black boy, right? The only little black boy we ever read about in public school system, right? Right? Okay, now granted he was rich. He didn't fit in the poor black boy stereotype. He was rich. He was given all these presents from his daddy. But he gets into a little confrontation with these tigers, and he gives up all the presents without a struggle. He's a little black coward. And then at the end of the story, all he wanted to do is kick back and relax and eat some pancakes. He's a little black glutton. I hate it, I hated Little Black Sambo. Man, one time they reading that story in the classroom, I got so upset, I took my shoe off, I threw it at the instructor. She got upset, started crying, run out the classroom, I took my other shoe off, I threw it, I hit her up the side of the head with that one. And then all the kids in the classroom start talking about, oh, Huey P, he used to go wee, but now he cries it. He cries it now. Oh, he think he cries it. He cries it. Oh, he cries it. He cries it. He crazy. I say, cool, call me crazy, call me crazy, call me crazy, call me crazy, call me crazy. Because that's what they call my daddy back in Louisiana. Crazy yellow nigger.
I suppose with my PhD, they would have to call me crazy Dr. Nigger. But my deepest difficulty, people, when I was in high school, adolescent, teenager, my deepest difficulty was not Little Black Sambo. My deepest difficulty, people, was the fact that I could not dance. Don't laugh, that's not funny, okay? That's a tragedy. Okay, young black man can't dance is a big time tragedy. Okay, Shakespeare go to town on that one, the tragedy of a young black man who could not dance. We'd be here all night, have to have a gumbo intermission. Don't laugh at my pain, please, people. I was a little too shy, a little too self-conscious. I wasn't doing those dances they were doing back then, and I didn't have a developed sense of rhythm. I didn't fit into the racial stereotype, thank you very much. And I wasn't doing those dances. I wasn't doing the twists, the Afro twist, the peppermint twist. I wasn't doing none of those twists. They say, Huey, come on, let's do the camel walk. I said, look, I'm not trying to walk like a camel, one hump or two humps. It's difficult enough trying to walk like a man in this society, let alone getting down on the floor and doing the gator. Wilson Pickett talking about he got a land of 1,000 dances. I'm not doing one of them. Watch yourself. You're showing your age and your color. Watch yourself now. Now, when I go to the dance spot, a little high spot, everybody start dancing. You know how I play it off, then you. I would take out my poetry, and you know that caused some fights. Oh my God, they be trying to bust my head, trying to bust the rhyme. But poetry was the way that I got onto the educational track, because I was very fortunate in that I had my older brother Melvin. He's 4 years older than I am, great scholar. He was in college when I was in high school, and Melvin, God bless him, recognized I was having certain, educational difficulties. That's what you call a euphemism. And he used to bribe me like 25 cents a quarter if I could memorize certain verses from certain classical poems and plays. He had me doing like the Ozymandias, that one, Shelley, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, T.S. Eliot, the Bells and the Raven, the Edgar Allan Poe and the Shakespeare and all that. I was pretty good at it because I could hear something like once or twice, memorize it in that fashion. Always had a good memory, always a good bluffer, bluffing way through an earthquake, hurricane if I need to. But my secret technique for memorizing these verses from the classical poems and plays was, I get myself in a room late at night, lock the door behind me, get myself a long playing record, what a record is, put a record on the turntable, stick the needle up in the groove, just listen to the thing over and over and over and over again, try to follow along in the script in the book, but I couldn't because I couldn't read, I didn't know the words, but I could listen to this thing and pick it up through the oral tradition. I remember this one guy, he used to record a lot of these records, funny looking guy, little mustache. You see him on Johnny Carson show sometime. He came out of the films House of Wax, Dr. Fives. My favorite one was The Theater of Blood, where he played the demented actor that took revenge on all the critics. What a man named, he had the spooky voice in the Michael Jackson Thriller thing. What a man named, help me on this one. Vincent Price. That's it, Vincent Price. Man, thank you. I love Vincent Price. I love Vincent Price. Vincent Price is nice, man. I love Vincent Price. Vincent Price is nice. Hello, this is Vincent. Oh man, I love Vincent Price. Vincent Price is cool, right? Vincent Price is cool. So I listen to my Vincent Price, man, all night long till the break of dawn. Then the next night I go to a little dance party, a little house party. Everybody start dancing, and I would start reciting, and everybody would start fighting. And see, by that time, my brother Melvin had become what you might call an amateur hypnotist, and he started training me on how to put people in hypnotic trances. And people started saying, "Wow, Huey P. Newton has mystical powers. Wow!" And that caused a lot of fights too, especially when I successfully hypnotized some brother's girlfriend. Please remove the panties. But that's another Huey P. Newton story. Anyway, the first book that I made my way through on my own independently, I'm very proud of this. First book that I made my way through on my own was one of my brother Melvin's college philosophy books, Plato's Republic. You know that book? Big book, difficult book. I had to go through that book like 5 or 6 times before I figured out what was going on in that book. And I never did learn how to pronounce all those long Greek names. I really didn't. I don't know how Greek people talk to each other, really. I would hate to have to listen to 2 Greek people making love and 3 Greek people, forget about Pastor Olive Oil, I guess. So after I had mastered the Plato's Republic, I started engaging my little girlfriends in like philosophical existentialist type dialogues, I would kick back, real cool, in the corner at the house party, and I would light up a cigarette, and I would ask my little girlfriends like existentialist, philosophical, type questions like, do you have free will? Is your God omniscient? Is she all powerful? Did you create God? Or did God create you?
Can I get that phone number?
What you doing talking Greek to my girlfriend? I'm doing something you can't do, brother. I'm multilingual, you know what I'm saying? But I love the classics that my brother Velvet had for me, man. I love the classic, the Shakespeare, Macbeth. Come on. Huh? Act 5, Scene 5? Sitting up in that castle? Straight up ghetto gangster. Talking about life full of sound and fury. Signifying nothing. But even if life is full of sound and fury, hopefully it can signify something. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can get my significance on. Hopefully I can be like the great blues man Robert Johnson sitting up at the crossroads. Sound to the east of me, fury to the west. Hopefully I can go straight ahead, follow the North Star like Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, get my significance on. I was discussing this, in fact, just the other evening with a very close comrade of mine over some barbecue. And what I was saying was that this is the existentialist dilemma. You look at the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible, you see the preacher, he was the first existentialist. He wanted to live as a dog rather than die as a lion. And then you can talk about Kierkegaard, Kafka, Camus, and all them. But don't ignore the existentialist blues tradition. Blues tradition of Bessie Smith, Clara Smith, Mamie Smith, any Smith sisters tell you about it. East St. Louis blues, Miles Davis blowing blues, son of a dentist, but still he blowing blues. Call it jazz, it's just blues, it's all blues, it's all blues, it's all blues, it's all blues. Seattle, left-handed, plugged in, electronic, psychedelic. They call it rock and roll, but it's just blues, blues. Choke on your vomit in London, blues, 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 blues. And my comrade said, well, that's a very interesting analysis, comrade Huey, but would you please pass me that barbecue? And I said, sure, you want chicken or ribs? He said, well, I dig the pig. Can you spare a rib? I said, I think I can spare a rib. You want hot sauce on it? He said, hell yeah, you know I'm from Texas. You know I want the hot sauce. One day I'm going to develop my own barbecue sauce. I said, right on. What, huh? What happened? Oh, is that the... Oh, is that the... Okay. That's a poetry cue. Okay, cool. All right. Missed my poetry cue. Sitting up here talking about barbecue. Okay, here you go. I like that sound. That's a sweet sound. I just do it up on that. Okay, here it is. Let me do this one. One day I realized I had forgotten name, age, sex, address, race. I had found myself. What is greater than love or hate? I will tell you then. What is greater than love is a relationship I have with the tip of my finger. That's it. I can break it down, simple concept, no problem. Break it down, okay, it's a simple concept. You see, if I try to define myself as my finger, I deny myself my thumb. But if I try to define myself as my thumb, I deny myself my hand. But if I try to define myself as my hand, I deny myself what? My arm. That's it, you with it. If I try to define myself as my arm, I deny myself what? The body. But if I try to define myself as my body, I deny myself what? Huh? The head. The universe, right? My soul. It's like I diminish myself, right? Huh? Everybody got it? Okay. See how y'all do on the next one. Okay, here we go. I do not know enough about myself because you do not know enough about yourself. Would you help me know? I met someone who was part of myself I did not appreciate. It is not that our ego is too large. The problem is that our ego is too small. Love is more constant than light. Anybody like that one? You like it? I appreciate it, but I think you're in the minority. I really do. Because I can take it or leave it myself. No, really. I just want to be brutally honest about language, about words. I really do. At this point in time, I don't think that language is really good. I don't think that the human language is really caught up with the rest of the human evolutionary process. Because it seems like every time we try to express a deep thing, a heavenly thing, a godlike thing, a poetic thing, it seems like we come up short, doesn't it? Huh? Huh? You're sitting up trying to compose like a funny Valentine, and you can't do it. So what do? You wind up making an investment in the Hallmark Corporation, and then when the words fail, when the language fail, when the poetry fail, then what do? We wind up trying to touch each other, right? Huh? Jump back into the womb and reconnect.
Because you know the first thing they did when they brought us over here was separate us. You remember, don't you? Put us in a cage, tried to breed us like what's the James Brown song? Like a sex machine. No love there. And then whenever they killed us down south, they always made sure that they would cut our penis off. What's that all about? Mystery, envy. And you go right over here to Red Light District where they have the topless and bottomless performances. I hate it with a passion because they have a nerve to call it the love act. They say, come on in, see the live love act. I mean, what does love got to do with all that? See, love is such a used and abused and battered term. What we got to know is love and hate are not opposites. They both sit up on the same frequency, Kenneth. The opposite of both love and hate is indifference. And it's impossible for black folks in America to be indifferent about anything, so you can imagine the kind of agony that's going to put somebody through trying to reconcile love and hate. Got another one. I heard God call. I got my gun and waited. When he appeared, I realized and took the gun from my head. I don't know if the poetry's working, so I might as well just turn up the music. I guess that's what they call that contemporary jazz. But it's close to the blues, isn't it? I mean, jazz and blues, they had the same genealogy. They both had the same granddaddy, great-granddaddy, great-great-granddaddy, too. My closest comrade told me that jazz is like the blues' light-skinned cousin. Everything coming out that blues thing. All the popular music. Unpopular music, too. Huh? I called up the so-called soul station the other night. I was listening to the radio. I was irate. They had the nerve to play the Eric Clapton version of I Shot the Sheriff. Huh? I called him up. I said, don't y'all know that a Jamaican brother wrote that song? Huh? Eric Clapton. Talking about I Shot the Sheriff. I bet you he didn't do no time for it. At least Frank Sinatra had the decency to admit who he ripping off. He said Billie Holiday was the greatest influence on him. I bet you he didn't send her no residual check. When Billie Holiday died, they didn't change the lights over on the Empire State Building, did they? I said just another dead junkie. Said she funky junkie, but she's just a dead junkie. I guess that's what they call the blues, though, isn't it? Huh? And that's why the lady's singing it. Everything coming out of blues, even this new thing that these kids got going on with the Sugar Hill Kids. What they call them, the Sugar Hill Kids? Huh? With the new thing, what they call it? The rap. The rap. Like H-Rap Brown, right? The rap. Okay, that's okay. I understand that correlation. Okay, rap. I was watching a news program just the other evening on the public broadcast, and they was doing a documentary on these kids in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Now, Bed-Stuy, I think that's where the Panther headquarters was. No, it wasn't Bulldoze in Bed-Stuy. That was in New Orleans. I get my pigs mixed up sometimes. But they was interviewing these kids out on the street, black Puerto Rican kids, and they was asking them what they want to be when they grow up. And the kids was saying, I want to be doctor, lawyer, chief of staff, armed forces. And they asked this one little chubby boy, I think his name was Christopher, funny eye, and they asked him what he want to be when they grow up. And he said, well, when I grow up, I haven't really made up my mind, but when I grow up, I want to be either a gangster or a rapper. And they said, can you do an example of the rap? Because I guess they didn't want no example of the gangster. So just then Christopher said, yeah, I can do an example of it. And then the little boy just snatched up the man mic right up out of his hand. Oh my God, it was notorious. He just snatched up the man mic. He said, this is the rap I'm going to do when I get big, because he was small, but he figured he going to get big. He said, this is the rap I'm going to do. He said, birthdays was the worst day, but now we sip champagne when we thirsty. I love that, man. I love that. I love that. That's brilliant, man. I love the way he rhymed up birthday and Thursday, man. That's almost as good as hotel motel, boy. I tell you, boy. And I hope he achieve his dream. I really do. I hope he achieve his dream. I hope his dream don't turn out to be like Dr. King's dream. Whoo, that turned out to be a nightmare. But it make me feel good to know that this child's gonna be around for a long time. But I don't know if the rap thing is gonna last. I can't imagine anybody outside of Brooklyn wanting to buy it. He might be better off as a gangster, because America can always use a new gangster, especially in the White House. But maybe he can somehow combine his interests, put the gangster together with the rap, like a double major. But it made me feel good to know that this child's not even going to be 30 years old by the time the century changes over into the year 2000, 2001. And I'll still be a rather young man myself. Ed Stokely will be doing his thing. And Eldridge is going to have his soul on ice. We'd be like three the hard way. That was a boss flick, wasn't it? Ooh, Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, Three the hard way. Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, who the third one? Jim Kelly. Whoo, Jim Kelly bad. Kick you straight up in the belly, Jim Kelly. Huh? And don't mess his afro up none. I tell you, man, the afro is cool, man. Jim Kelly, man. Whoo, I tell you, boy. I think they changed his name when he came out to Hollywood. It used to be O'Kelly. They said O'Kelly was, Jim O'Kelly was too ethnic there. Now, he had a little cousin, bald-headed cousin. What the name? R. Kelly, yeah. He used to run around the house talking about he could fly. Him and Donny Hathaway. Where is the love? Now, down there, Donny. Come on now. Well, you heard about having Bruce Lee. They called up Bruce Lee, said, you're going to have to fight Jim Kelly. Bruce Lee dropped dead on the spot. Whoo, boom, just like that. He said, ain't no way in hell I'm fighting that black Irish. He crazy. But this blues thing is phenomenal. It's a stone that the builder refused. She'll always be the head cornerstone. That's my daddy's sermon, but you don't want to hear that because we definitely have to have a gumbo intermission. But it's a phenomenal thing, everything coming out of the blues tradition. In fact, I wrote a little poem which was inspired by a definition that my comrade gave me, and it goes a little something like this. It said, blues is a note between a note. Eastern wisdom is an idea between an idea. And a geek. Let me tell y'all what a geek is, all right? A geek is like a circus performer who's very talented, like a flying Walinda, like a high trapeze artist, but he fall down, get injured in the line of duty, get crippled. The circus people feel very sorry for him because circus work is all he's ever done. It's all he can do, all he's been trained to do. The circus people, out of the kindness of their heart, what they do is they get themselves a cage, and they put the geek in the cage, and for the entertainment value, they get themselves a live chicken, and they lock it in the cage with the geek. And the geek is then required to chase the chicken, catch the chicken, kill the chicken, eat the chicken raw. Now, nobody wants no raw chicken, especially with no hot sauce on it, but he got to do it because he gotta survive, and it's all he's been trained to do. It's all he can do. So he got to chase that chicken. He got to catch that chicken. He got to kill that chicken. He got to eat that chicken. Head, foot, feather, bone, blood just running down his face. It's nasty, but he's smart. The geek is smart because what he does is he saves one solitary chicken bone for the end of the so-called performance, and at the end of the so-called performance, he throws that chicken bone out to one member of the audience because he realizes all those people out there on the outside of the cage, all those people out there outside of the cage watching him do his thing, what he got to do to survive, even though he crippled, all those people on the outside of the cage watching him, they're the freaks. See what I'm saying? He the geek. And all of them out there, they're the freaks. And that's what the geek and the freak is. Is that clear? Good.
You walk into the room with your pencil in your hand. You see somebody naked and you say, who is that man? You try so hard, but you don't understand just what you will say when you get home. Because something is happening here, but you don't know what it is. Do you, Mr. Jones? You raise up your head and you ask, is this where it is? Then somebody points to you and says, it's his. And you say, what's mine? And somebody else says, well, what is? And you say, oh my God, am I here all alone? But something is happening and you don't know what it is. Do you, Mr. Jones? You hand in your ticket and you go watch the geek, who immediately walks up to you when he hears you speak and says, how does it feel to be such a freak? And you say, impossible, as he hands you a bone. And something is happening here, but you don't know what it is. Do you, Mr. Jones? But nobody has any respect. Anyway, they already expect you to all give a check to tax-deductible charity organization. You've been with the professors and they've all liked your looks. With great lawyers you have discussed lepers and crooks. You've been through all of F. Scott Fitzgerald's books. You're very well read, it's well known. But
I'd like to introduce you to someone. Ladies and gentlemen, Huey P. Newton.
A very handsome young black man who has written a book.
Revolutionary suicide. A concept I shall now ask Mr. Newton, please to explain.
My opinion of him was basically that he was just a gangster.
There are people that are accusing you or that are saying Huey Newton is crazy. Huey Newton is a very violent man. There were allegations that you pistol whipped the tailor.
How do I express my love to you, brother?
I think that we should be, at some point, considering making Huey P. Newton's birthday a national holiday.
A holiday for this man? That's funny, okay? Because he's wrong about his ways.
You scared people, Huey.
Drugs, mayhem, and murder.
You and I share a favorite movie, Black Orpheus.
He's a real gentle, compassionate man.
The white man makes you a drug addict.
Thank you for appearing tonight on my baby's birthday.
Huey Newton. living in palatial splendor.
It may be that one of the difficulties you have as chief spokesman for the Black Panther Party is your total incoherence.
Huey, for whatever reasons, the system has really put you through the mill. Are you bitter? If you had to do all over again, would you change anything?
I don't know what you're talking about, and I think you don't either.
Is any or all of that true?
No. No, none of that is true. I've never actually been convicted of anything. I've been charged about 58 times. They charged me with being everything under the sun except being the son of man, but I've never really been convicted of anything. I was accused in 1974 of murdering a prostitute. I was acquitted of that charge. I came back from Cuba to stand trial for that charge. I was acquitted of that charge. What I found and what my lawyers found was that there were about 1 million pages of FBI documents with my name on it. They want to tear down my character, destroy my hard-earned reputation, intimidate my family members, call me an outlaw, which I'll accept. I'll be the outlaw because in order to change the law, you got to step outside the law. That's what revolution means. It means to change. Look it up in Webster's. They call me a deviant, which I'll accept it well. I'm a big-time deviant because I deviate from docility. I deviate from the behavior of what is commonly referred to as a good Negro. And I'm very sorry that you've made these charges and that I've had to respond in such a manner. I really, truly am. But you know, some of these charges against me have about as much substance as my invisible dog, Tom. Come here, boy. That's it. Go on, Tom. Roll over. Play dead for the people. Look. That's my Tom. Look at him. He's cute. Look at him. That's it. That's my little Tom. Look. That's it. Give the people a good view of your backside, Tom. Come on. You want chicken bone? I got a chicken bone for you. Come on. You want to fetch that chicken bone? Come on. Come on. Here your chicken bone. Come on and get your chicken bone. He gonna eat the chicken. Look at him. He's cute, isn't he? He's cute. He gonna get the chicken. Come on. Here your raw chicken. You want the hot sauce on? No, you don't want the hot sauce on. Come on. Here your chicken. Come on. Fetch it. Fetch it. That's it. Come on, Tom. Fetch it. That's it, my Tom. Go on, Tom. Fetch it. Fetch it. Step in. Fetch it. What did the woman say? Huey P. Newton living in palatial splendor, $650 a month, deluxe penthouse apartment in the sky, moving on up. I live here because I have to. This is a security building. I have to take certain precautions. This is nothing more than a stucco cell. But I have to be here right now, getting my kicks vicariously, looking through my telescope at those people down there on the street living their life with joy. See, I'm not allowed to have joy right now. I gotta defer my enjoyment until the appropriate time. It's inappropriate for me to be joyful right now. But when I was down there on the street, I used to get my joy out of some pretty stupid, petty, insignificant thing. I used to get my joy out of a good fist fight, and that was stupid. But then on the other hand, you realize that when you grow up and you reach your full maturity and you learn to distinguish between what is significant and what is insignificant, you lose a lot in that process too. So I guess that's why I'm up here right now, 25 floors above the concrete, looking for joy like that Roberta Flack Donny Hathaway song where they're talking about where's the love, where's the love they said you would give to me as soon as you were free, where's the love. That's like my hit song, Where's the Joy, by Huey P. Newton and the Famous Flames. Get it at your local record store in the blues section. Don't see them blues looking frozen foods. You know what I'm talking about? Huh? You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do you? Huh? You pay good money to see Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton sit up here like he's smoking drugs. Look, let me break it down to you this way, people. It's like you go into a kitchen, you got to prepare a special dish. You look in the cookbook, you see the recipe call for an onion, a big onion. You got to peel up that big onion. You got to chop up that big onion. And the tears come down your face. You crying just like a baby. And you're saying to yourself, where's the joy? What is the gumbo going to taste like? See, you don't know what the gumbo going to taste like. All you know is that you crying just like a baby. See, this is just like if you want to change the system, but you don't know what the system going to be like after you change it. All you know is that you don't like the way things are right now, so you're just getting frustrated and angry, and you're getting lonely. And I guess my loneliness is just like a byproduct of my immaturity, I suppose. Because you know I was in solitary confinement for 3 years. And while I was in there, I certainly learned the value of meditation. I learned the value of masturbation, too, but that's another UP.
Newton story. Look, people, come on now. I am no saint. I am no saint. I haven't achieved what the Buddhists call. What do Buddhists call? Any Buddhists in the house? What do you call it? Like a personal serenity, like samadhi. Is that what they call it? Samadhi, like help me, somebody. Look, whatever they called it, whatever they called it, I have not achieved it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, sometimes I have a good day. I have my samadhi. But then the samadhi just lasts about 7-8 minutes max. Usually samadhi just lasts about 7-8 seconds. Then I start looking for somebody else. I guess I always I felt a little bit uncomfortable outside of the bars because, I left a lot of people behind me on the death row, especially in Texas and Pennsylvania. And until they are free, I will never really... Until they are free, I will never really truly be free. But it's not so bad. I get outside sometimes. People recognize me in the broad daylight. They come up to me and say, "Hey, anybody ever tell you look like Huey P. Newton?" I say, "Well, I think I am Huey P. Newton." They say, "You're kidding? You're Huey? Wow, right on. Have a good day." That's what they tell you. Have a good day. So I go on, I have a good day, but then the good day is done because the sun go down on the good day just like the sun go down on every day. So I come back up to the penthouse, ordering some Chinese food, get myself a bottle of Chablis, put a little Richard Pryor record on the turntable, get my laugh on. But then the Richard Pryor record is over, it's skipping its warp. You played it so many times, the Chablis is consumed. The Chinese food is nothing but 2 empty cartons, 2 chopsticks, and a fortune I do not want to read. And I start feeling guilty all over again because I know I want to go on straight, live, and direct to the gas chamber if the people had not freed me. See, they freed me. I didn't have any power in the whole thing. That was the true power of the people. They freed me. I was just sitting up in my little 5x7 cell, up in my 5x7 hell, up there on the 10th floor of the Alameda County Jail in the building I call the Great White Whale. I'm just sitting up there in the belly of the whale. But I can hear the people yelling, chanting, screaming, organizing. 10 floors on the street underneath me, down on the avenue, on the boulevard, all over Oakland. They're talking about what? Free Huey. Up in Berkeley, they're talking about Free Huey. In San Francisco, they're talking about what? Free Huey. Down in L.A., Free Huey. Dallas, Houston, talking about Free Huey. In New Orleans, Free Huey, yeah, you're right. Free Huey, yeah, you're right. Atlanta, GA, Free Huey. Wilmington, North Carolina, Free Huey. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, too, they're talking about Free Huey. Ohio, Detroit, Free Huey. Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Free Huey. All over New York City, they're talking about Free Huey. All over Mexico City, they're talking about Libre Huey, Libre Huey, Libre Huey. In Chicago, Fred Hampton murdered in his bed, dreaming about Free Huey. In Chicago, Fred Hampton murdered in his bed, dreaming about Free Huey.
No one was murdered.
In Chicago, Fred Hampton murdered in his bed, dreaming about Free Huey. 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 Yeah, they freed Huey. And then Huey came out and they wanted Huey to free them. And I keep trying to tell the people, I said, people, realize your power. That was the true power of the people. You freed me. You freed Huey. Now why don't y'all just go on and free yourself? But they can't do that, can they? They can't do that. Because your people always have to create what they call a leader. And the leader is everything that the people want to be, but the leader is everything that the people can never be. So then when the leader fails, just like the leader going to fail every time, he's just flesh and blood, he's going to fail. When the leader fails, then the whole construction of the concept of leadership fails, and then it just becomes a matter of contempt. And that's when they assassinate you, then they put your image on a postage stamp, so they can keep licking you in the grave. And I really don't think that leadership per se is something we're going to be using in the future. I really don't. I don't see any leaders in my future. You see any leaders in your future? Look in the White House, in the Oral Office. You see any leaders in your future? What did Bob Dylan song say? Don't follow leaders, watch your what? Parking meters. Even Karl Marx himself said, I myself am not a Marxist. I think Groucho Marx said the same thing. That's why I tell the people, I said, people, I can't be your leader. I can't be your symbol. I can't be your idol. I can't be your icon. I can't be your revolutionary poster. I mean, I can't be your hero. Hero is nothing but a sandwich. I don't want to appear to you like I'm a fake. I don't want to play the fake on you, but really, people, come on, realize this. I'm just what they call a regular human being. You know, I was talking the other evening with a very close comrade of mine, Mr. Alex Haley. You know Alex Haley, don't you? Ritz. Kunta Kinte and all that. Kunta Kinte. Last time I saw Kunta Kinte, he was on Star Trek. I guess that's what they call progress in America, huh? Put the slaves up in space. Now, what is that? Is that like a relocation program or something? 40 acres in a spaceship? Anyway, ooh, there go the niggas. Sign me up. But what Alex was saying was very interesting in terms of leadership, because what he was saying was that if you go back to ancient Africa and you walk down the road and you see an ancient African walking down the road at you and you ask the old African, who are you? The African will tell you, I am we. Get it? I am we. We, we are all one. One. You know what I'm saying? One of the multitude, just one. And that's what I call revolutionary suicide, which is the name of my book. I'll autograph you a copy if you buy it first. It's also the name of a poem which I'd love to share with you. I know that you were rather indifferent at best in my previous poetic efforts, but I have a copy here on my person. Perhaps I could produce it if you would give me a word or two of encouragement. Perhaps I could run to... Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your spontaneity is amazing, okay? Your sincerity is killing me. You're killing me softly with your sincerity. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, when I heard a guy call, got my gun and waited. I did that one right? Got my gun and waited. Did it well? Okay, cool. I do not know enough about myself because you do not. No, I did that one. You know nothing about yourself. Okay, that's cool. Blues and note between the note. That was a good one. Blues and note between the Eastern wisdom idea, between the idea. My comrade give you that one. Whew, that's genius, isn't it? Whew, chocolate genius. That's what I call it. Whew, my God, come on. One day I realized I forgot name ain't sex. I did the sex one now. Did I do the sex? No. One day I realized I forgot name, age, sex, address, race. No, I did that. Shame on you. You heard sex, you got excited. Shame on you. Okay, I know it. Okay, by having no family, I have inherited the family of humanity. By having no possessions, I have possessed all. By rejecting the love of one, I have received the love of all. By surrendering my life to the revolution, I have found eternal life. Revolutionary suicide. So we used to go like this, and then everybody would do like this, but I guess they don't do that no more, huh? Huh? Or is it played out? We believe. I think you're in the minority, though. I really do. Because I think a lot more people doing like this now than this. Am I right? Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate it. That's what I thought. But back in 1966, we did have some possibilities, did we not? Did we not? We had Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, did we not? You heard of them? Your grandparents told you about them? Huh? You heard about her? Tell me this. What the hell is a Vandella? Huh? Because I've been trying to figure that out since we was dancing in the street during the heat wave. Archie Bell and the Drells. What the hell is a drill? We have to go down to Houston, Texas to find that out. That's where they were from, right? Hi, this is Archie Bell and the Drells, Houston, Texas. In Houston, we not only sing, but we dance. It's good as we walk. In Houston, we got a new dance called the what? Okay, come on then. This is the music tighten up with. Okay, first tighten up on the drums, and the drum will come in. Then tighten up on the bass. Bass line come in. It was wicked. How'd it go? Come on. Come on, y'all. Now make it mellow. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I couldn't dance too good, but I could get off in the privacy of my cell, you know. To the left now, come on, and to the right. Everybody tight now, but don't you get to, come on. To the right now, tight now. Now make it mellow. Will y'all quit on me? You let them take your tighten up from you? Huh? Huh? People, don't ever let nobody take your tighten up from you. It's a very precious thing. Oh yeah, we had another pop group back in 1966 that I forgot about. We had the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And now I'm sitting up here, I don't feel like defending nothing. I look out my window sometimes, I ain't even know where I am. I could be in Connecticut, San Francisco. They say it's only 10 hours from here to Vietnam. I could be over there running through the jungle with Creedence Clearwater Revival and all them. I mean, none of us really know at any given time where the hell we are. You don't know where the hell you are right now, do you? You don't know if you're living or dead, sitting up here in like a void, like a dream state. More than likely, we're sitting up here in a police state. Huh? Huh? From what I heard, I don't have no crystal ball. But from what I've heard, they're using Africans for target practice in New York City. Huh? 41 shots. Only 19 hit them. They need to take some more target practice. Put a broomstick up a man rectum. I say rectum, they nearly killed him. Huh? Look, I hear the high heels sneaking up behind me, people, so I'm gonna get out of here. But before I do, I want to share something with you on the QT. Okay? It's on the QT? Let me tell y'all something. 10 times in the last 3 weeks, one of my staff workers has been approached by the FBI. FBI wrote a little note, attached it to a $50 bill, put it on the windshield of my staff worker's car. The note said, there's plenty more where this come from. Okay, I got the note. I'll show it to you later. Just yesterday, my same staff worker was approached face-to-face in the broad daylight by the FBI. The FBI agent said to my staff worker that they would pay to my staff worker a certified check for $20,000 US if my staff worker would just tell the FBI anything about me or about the Black Panther Party. Why? Because we're in the system now. We're not a threat any longer. We're up in the penthouse now, so they want to protect me. Federal Bureau of Investigation won't pay $20,000 US for the privilege of protecting Huey P. Newton. Now that's some crazy shit, isn't it? Huh? I asked you a simple question, people. I said, is that or is that not some crazy shit? It's crazy, isn't it? But you tell people about this FBI stuff, they think you're just being paranoid. But let me tell you something, people. I've been followed to the grocery store, the barber shop, the donut shop. Whenever they train me in my automobile, it is always bumper to bumper. And I'm getting to the point where I'm saying this late in the 20th century, the man should have been able to develop his technology to the point where he can just have a little satellite up there on top of the Golden Gate Bridge, beam me down on me, save everybody a lot of trouble. Me and the FBI. Don't you think? And I'm getting to the point where I'm saying this is like my running joke. My running joke at this point in time is I would love to reverse the evolutionary process and get my tail back, and then at least I know what's following me. What's that? Oh, that's your tail, Huey. Okay, cool. I thought it was FBI. What's that? Oh, they should tell you. Okay, cool. I thought it was CIA. What's that? Oh, they should tell you. Okay, cool. I thought it was Ronald Reagan. Smelled just like him. Look, I am not paranoid, people. I am not paranoid. I am not paranoid. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm B-O-R-E-D. I'm bored. I wish I could walk out on myself right now. I really do. I wish I was sitting up watching the NC2A highlight. 3 points for the nigger, $1 million for the network. Who got gang? Huh? And the boredom is just a little place I like to run and hide sometimes where maybe the pain is not too great. Because you know I got very much involved in alcohol, right? Cocaine, Valium, heroin, cool cigarettes. Now this is a slow murder of yourself, isn't it? Isn't it? It's like I'm sitting up here murdering myself to death, isn't it? Huh? It's like a reactionary suicide, isn't it? Huh? Sometimes I think maybe sometimes I think maybe sometimes I think maybe we shouldn't have worked so hard to free me from the gas chamber. Maybe that would have been a better death for me than this boredom I'm going through right now. Huh? This reactionary suicide. Maybe sometimes I think maybe I would have been better off if I had gone to Jonestown, Guyana. Well, hell no, that's not going to work because I'm not leaving this world with Kool-Aid on my lips, okay? Okay. 7 children in my family, you know, we grew up drinking some nasty Kool-Aid. They're going to have to put some Cavassier up in the mud. At least some cold duck. Come on, Reverend Jones. And then I got all kind of fool come up here to the security system, want to call themselves a journalist, ask me stupid questions like what's the difference between the old Huey P. Newton and the new Huey P. Newton? How you going to answer a question like that? What's the difference between the old Huey P. Newton and the new Huey P. Newton? Look, I'm just the same old thing. We got the same problems in the community. We got drugs in the community, imported loaded into the community by the government, manufactured especially for the community by the government, and then the police uses those same government drugs as an excuse to vamp on everybody in the community. Oh, they call it a war on drugs, when really it's just a war on poor people. Oh, well, Huey, how would you like Huey P. Newton to be remembered? Well, I don't want Huey P. Newton to be remembered, because if Huey P. Newton needs to be remembered, that means that Huey P. Newton has been dismembered. Oh, but if Huey P. Newton needs to be remembered, I would like Huey P. Newton to be remembered as someone who was very... I would like Huey P. Newton to be remembered as someone who was very, very... very loved. I love you too. See, I guess what's most frustrating for me right now is that I'm a lot like you. I'm not very active any longer. But I suppose that believing in nothing is believing in something, right? Now, would anybody care for a hit of this? Ooh, come on, get your shotgun on. Come on, what? Hi. Come on, you want some of this? Well, you got a better brand? That's what I heard. Oh, well, Huey, well, the systems really put you through the mill. Are you bitter? Are you bitter, Huey? There's a black man talking to. I said, no, brother man, no black man, no Bryant. I am not bitter, okay? I'm not. I mean, I'm entertained. You know me, I stay entertained. I mean, sometimes it's a good picture show, sometimes it's a bad picture show, but you know me, I'm gonna stay entertained. Speaking of picture show, y'all ever seen this movie called Black Orpheus? Have you seen it? Anybody? Good flick, isn't it? One of my top favorite of all time. Orpheus is a good-looking brother, isn't it? Isn't it? Huh? I just hear the sisters. Come on, brothers. Admit that your brother good-looking. Your nuts not gonna drop off. Come on, huh? A good-looking brother. He can play that guitar, can't he? Samba, bossa nova. He got that thing going on, doesn't he? Huh? But he gets into a confrontation with death. Remember? You know, death wins. Just like death gonna win every time. You can't fight against death. But what he does is, before he dies, he gets himself an apprentice. Remember, a little boy had to teach the little boy how to play the guitar, and he tell the little boy that if he learns to play this one particular tune on the guitar just right, that he will have the power to what? Make the sun rise. Whew, that's a lot of power. You can make the sun rise just by playing one tune on the guitar. So the last scene in the film, I'm gonna set it up like they do on the Geordie Carson show. Okay. The last scene in the film, Orpheus is dead, but the little boy has his guitar, and he's sitting up on top of a high mountain down in Brazil. And the little boy is playing that tune that Orpheus had taught him, you know, just like he taught him, with the glissando and the arpeggio and all that going on. And the little boy got a little girl right next to him, and she dancing. She's very pretty. She got the breeze just blowing through her skirt. She got the power of the people in that movement. There's a movement of the people right there. That's what Ziggy Daddy called it, right? What's Ziggy Daddy name? Movement of the people, right? So the little girl is spinning and grinning. The little boy is strumming and humming, and before you know it, before you can say the words, get up, stand up, the sun just... The sun just come right on up. Just like that. It's beautiful. So beautiful. And there is a lesson that we all can learn from the Black Orpheus. And the lesson is that death will win every time. But there is an opportunity that we all have to somehow circumvent death by passing a heritage on to the next generation. Just ask Ziggy. See, I used to think that I could somehow outwit death and I could outmaneuver death, but I don't believe that any longer. I no longer believe that I cannot be killed. Nobody gets out of this life alive. Definitely not Huey P. That's why I tell all my comrades, I say, hey brothers, hey sisters, you only gonna die one death, don't die a million deaths worrying about it. I'm just trying to laugh at all the funny things that happen on the way to the grave. And I guess the funniest thing that happened when you die, everybody wanna bring you some flowers. But they don't want to bring you any soup while you're alive to help keep you alive. And I'm getting to the point where I'm saying, you know, when I die, I don't want any flowers. I can't smell flowers where I'm going. I want my soup. Huh? You know what I'm saying? I want my soup. See, because these people always just want to believe in the image that they created of it, but they never really want to believe in me doing the things that I felt were important to me. But that's cool. That's all right. They're afraid. Politicians are afraid to communicate. Social workers are afraid to socialize, and they just want to put me up in a box. And I realize that Huey P. Newton will never get out of that box, but I tell you something, people, it's not something that causes me any problems any longer. It's really, truly not. Because you know what my motto is? Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Huh? What was that thing my brother Melvin taught me? Huh? Shakespeare? Macbeth? Act 5? Scene 5? Huh? Sitting up in that castle, straight up ghetto gangster. Talking about tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this what?
Creeps in this petty pace.
Petty pace. From day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools away to dust to death. Out hold the brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then it's heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne and we thirsty. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we sip champagne. Birthdays was the worst days. Now we're sipping on pain. Sipping on pain. I'm ready for my close-up.
47-year-old Huey Newton died in a hail of gunfire this morning.
Dead on an Oakland street, those who believed in one Huey steadfastly refused to acknowledge the other.
As we mourn him, we celebrate the legacy that he left us of struggle and resistance.
Blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. It is better to die for a noble cause than to live and die a slave.
Newton, a handsome, charismatic man, was somewhat of a folk hero to many. The Black Panther Party, which Newton founded with Bobby Seale in 1966, had come to symbolize the new black militancy of the 60s.
Huey P. Newton, the Minister of Defense,
who put this shit into motion.
There's a very, very strong unit of the Black Panther Party located in Brooklyn. You can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution.
It's not a black nationalist problem. It's America's problem. Because whatever type of people we have today, America produced these people.
Whenever a colonized people begin to move against the oppressor must step up its oppression.
They made quite a spectacle with their black leather jackets and their guns. They displayed a fearless and arrogant pride that poor black people had just never experienced.
Huey P. Newton is the only leader that black people should recognize. You must free our leader. He must be freed, and he will be freed.
I have these Black Panthers up here with guns on the second floor.
We are not in a mind to sit around or to sing songs about Huey. We will go down with Huey.